Hello and welcome to day 14. So today is disasters. So I wanted to speak to you guys about disasters and preparing for disasters and basically disasters, hurricanes, bad weather, fires. Be prepared, especially now that it's autumn time, winter time. The roads are a nightmare with the car headlights. Over here in the UK, I'm struggling so bad with that. Also, you know, now autumn's here, we're going to have lots of rain. So there's going to be lots of flooding. I know over in Europe currently, Valencia has had some really horrific floods. And I think Malaga right now are having some horrific rain and flooding. So that's going on. Obviously over in Australia you get the wildfires, and over in America you guys get a lot of hurricanes and tornadoes going through. So do you have a game plan for anything that happens like that? You know, sit down with your family. You know, if anything like that happens, you know, have you had a game plan? You know, and the other one is house fires. You know, you pray to God they never happen, but sometimes, unfortunately, they do. Whether or not it's a white goods thing, fridge, freezer, washing machine, microwave, dishwasher, cooking fire, air fryer, fire, we get them. So are you prepared for all of this? So are you prepared with electricity's going out? If you haven't got a generator over in America, I think you guys tend to have generators, and in Canada for when storms happen and hurricanes. Do you have torches? I've got another torch here. Torches. And then for the fires, do you guys have a fire extinguisher, especially for the kitchen? Because believe it or not, most house fires are from cooking. Now, I don't store this in my kitchen for the simple reason is if you have a fire in your kitchen and it's ablaze on the hob or wherever, you've got to go into that cupboard where maybe in the kitchen where you keep this. So I actually keep this just outside my kitchen. It's hidden away, it's tucked away where I can grab it. So if there was a fire, I've got a fire extinguisher. Obviously check the fire extinguisher and know what you can use your fire extinguisher for, because there are fire extinguishers that you can't use on certain types of fires. So yeah. Also for loss of power, have you got some candles that you can light? Whether or not you've got one of those or matches. But please, 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 if you have pets, do not leave candles unattended. I'm one of them people that don't light a candle for the simple reason is I have a cat that has a tail. And if you've seen one of my previous videos, it was like a motivational Sunday. My cat came along and just with his tail, he whipped my cup of coffee and it went on the floor. And it only takes that little thing of a tail to whip a candle and his tail's alight. You know, many years ago, Tiger, bless him, he jumped up on my hob as I just turned it on to cook. And he singed his fur ever so slightly. I managed to get him off really quick. And he singed his fur. Now, luckily that evening, he was going to the vets anyway. But it was the most terrifying experience I've ever had to deal with a cat. And straight away, ever since that moment, when I'm in the kitchen cooking, I always used to turn to Tiger and Blue and go, out the kitchen. You're not coming in the kitchen when I'm cooking. And they knew it. So they used to get out the kitchen when I was cooking, just to stop them from jumping on the hob. And also, I taught them down. So they got down off the hob or the worktop. Now, the other thing you could be prepared for is if you do have fires in the house or you have floods, there's one other thing you can be prepared for. And that is getting yourself a fireproof bag. This one is also waterproof. It's got Velcro that's really tough, a zip, and inside it's lined. And obviously you get your most important documents. Now, I'm not saying grab a whole load of paperwork and fill it to the brim. I'm saying grab your most important thing, which would be your passport, and you put your passport in there. I'd say if you've got a marriage certificate, birth certificate for your kids, a building society or bank statement, put something like that in here. And then if there is a fire, and obviously seal it up really well. And obviously if there is a fire or you're running out the house because of flooding, you could actually potentially leave this in the house, and all being well, if it's really securely fastened, that should be fireproof and waterproof. And when you come back to your house, when you're allowed back to your house, you may well find the most important documents that you can't take with you, because don't forget, when you've got a house fire, what you're going to be doing is not thinking about grabbing your documents, you're thinking about getting your children, your spouse, your pets out that house. You're not going to be thinking, oh, got to grab my passport, got to grab this, got to grab that. You are literally going to be heading out the door, out the window, however you need to get out the house. So get yourself one of these, and that way you will know that you'll be safe, knowing, fingers crossed, that your documents are safe. And I say, don't fill it to the brim, just fill it with the bare necessities of documents. That way it will be safe. Also, sit down with your family and have a game plan. You know, like, unfortunately over in America, you guys get a lot of school shootings, and various other things happen. Have a sit down with your family, even if you've got a husband or a wife or a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Sit down with them and have a game plan, so that if a natural disaster happens, you know what you're doing. Because in the incident of a fire or flooding, you're going to be like, ah! So the first thing you want to do is literally get out the house. Grab the kids, grab the pets, you're out the house. I hear so many people saying, oh, I'm going to grab this, 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 this and this when there's a house fire. You're not. You're literally going to be grabbing the pet, the child, whatever, out the house. So have a game plan with the family. You know, work out a game plan. If you're upstairs and you can't get down the stairs, is there a window you can get out of? So yes. So that is disasters, hurricanes and bad weathers. Now obviously Mother Nature, climate change is just horrific. There's nothing we can do about it. It's happening. The climate is getting warmer, but we just need to be prepared for all the horrible eventualities that are going to come our way. And also, please don't leave any electronics unattended if you are cooking in them. Last night I got a message from my dad and my brother. Black smoke filled the kitchen because the jack potato my dad was cooking burnt to a cinder. Well, a crisp. It was charred, and my brother realised what was going on when he could smell the smoke, and he went downstairs, and Dad was already got the jack potato out and had put it in the caddy. But yes, that was a very harrowing escape for my dad and my brother. They opened all the doors and windows. So yes, be careful of microwaves, air fryers, all those goods that you cook with, or use, just be careful. They also say you shouldn't actually leave a dishwasher running when you are not in the house. And if you do have a fire from your dishwasher when you're not in the house, a lot of insurance companies will not pay out because you've left the appliance unattended. So please, please, please be warned of leaving a washing machine running or some sort of appliance running and you've left the house, because you will find that in the T's and C's of your insurance company, they are most likely going to find a clause where they don't pay out to you. So I don't tend to leave my dishwasher running or my washing machine running when I'm out of the house. Now obviously you can't do anything about the fridge or the freezer, it's got to stay on. But yeah, even the microwave, I'm literally just in the lounge and I can see my microwave through the arch in my wall. And finally, the other thing I'd like to say to you guys is every time the clocks go back or forwards, please get your finger and press your smoke alarm and test it, and also your CO2 alarm. And also after 10 years, it's every 10 years that you have your smoke alarm and your CO2 alarm that you should replace them. I replaced my smoke alarms when I first moved in. Last year I had to replace them because the batteries went in them. And this year I had a scare. I'd been in the house, left the house, came back in the house, and my CO2 alarm was bleeping madly. And I knew that could be a gas leak. So I got myself right out of the house. I sat in my car, I phoned my dad and my brother and I said, what do I do? What do I do? And my brother and my dad only lived down the road from me. And my brother said, let me come up with my CO2 alarm from our house and I will see if it is your CO2 alarm that's battery's gone. And thankfully it was the battery in my CO2 alarm that had died. So I did go out this year and buy a new CO2 alarm and it's sitting on my landing. So yeah, every time the clocks go back or forwards, just think, right, test my smoke alarms, test the CO2 alarms. And also that way you know you've got them. And if you haven't got them, please go out and buy them because they are there to save your lives. Enough of my waffling. I hope you take some of that on board. And I will see you tomorrow for day 15, which is tackle. Tackle another area that is bothering you. Remember, 5 minutes. So I'll see you all tomorrow for that. Bye.